How we doing?
All right, I guess I can't ask you, what are you going to do with the offensive line? So I guess I'm done with that.
Yeah, the elephants in the room are now out, and we still got a few more picks. So,
How did that Carolina trade come about, and that to get that extra pick, that really helped you guys out?
I think on that when you're picking early in the second round, and there's still good players left on the board, and teams kind of identify one. They sit, they probably simmer on it all day and say that's the guy we want. They may have had him rated as, late first or something like that, and they say, let's go get him. Let's go get our guy. So we had a lot of phone calls.
When you move back that far, is it one of those situations, if you're looking offensive line, for example, you have a group of guys that you feel pretty good about at that point? Is that fair to say?
That's exactly the case. We did. We had a good group. As a matter of fact, before we had expected a number of the guys to come off in the group, and that didn't happen. We had two guys come off prior to that pick, and then during right prior to the trade, I think we were on the phone with 5 teams.
Yeah, we probably missed a call or two.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of teams calling, and
Before the trade with Carolina?
Yes.
Do you think, I guess a couple of receivers went before they picked their receiver. I mean, I guess that's maybe what prompted them to go up.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has different needs, and so obviously he was important to them. He's a good player. He's a good player. Big, tall, big target, and so you could see why they had interest in him. But at that point, our group was large. It was good. We felt like we had a chance to, just to trade out. And really looking at the group, we also thought that the 3 was probably a little more important than a 4 and a 5. So we opted to go with Carolina and got the 3.
so what he's saying there, we could have gone back not as far, got maybe a 4 and a 5th rounder, but instead took the 3 and the 6th rounder to go back a little bit farther.
I know you guys study other teams' needs, so when you looked at, like say this, you actually look at the 16 teams and say, who do we think needs offensive linemen?
Yeah, you'll take their team needs. You'll take who they visited, who they worked out, if you got that info, and try to predict, and also use, hey, if a team, if we're looking for OL, so to speak, if someone picked an OL in the first round, they may be less likely to go to him the next time. So try to use all that data to make these types of decisions.
It seems like a pretty obvious trend for what you've gone for with the first 3 picks, 2 big physical offensive linemen, a powerful running back. Is this kind of your identity, I guess, has already been kind of established, but kind of putting the final pieces in place?
It really helped, yeah. I mean, it really helped with both the offensive linemen today, and then of course Todd yesterday. So yeah, I mean, we're building this team for the future, and I think we're establishing identity right now.
What do you like specifically about each of those linemen?
I think I'll go in there and let Coach Fish go. With Big Rob, I don't want to get his last name, Frankenstein. I think who told me? Maybe in Casey that said it's like Frankenstein. So maybe Havenstein. But Big Rob, will call him. He's ready to play. He's right tackle. Started a ton of games. Never missed any. They run the ball well up there. Went to the Senior Bowl. All of that translated to the Senior Bowl. He's just a guy that knows his strengths and weaknesses and how to use them. The other kid, Louisville, in Coach Petrino's offense, he's going to play on the right and left side. But depending on that's how they flip-flop them. Strong, weak, whatever they call them. So it gives him some versatility. He's playing left and right. But what's interesting, too, when he did the combine workout, a lot of his numbers, in all of the drills kind of jumped into what really good starters in our league, kind of do at the combine. So there's an element of upside there with the kid. So I think that's the 2 things we liked about him.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 2 big, strong physical players that extend plays, that finish plays, that go downfield. They're Mauler type. They're very, very aggressive. So they're going to fit our style.
Havenstein is a right tackle, I guess. Is that what he projects?
Yes, most likely.
And
he's very
Brown?
athletic. And as Les said, Brown's moved around. I mean, you can watch him play both tackles. I mean, on 2 consecutive plays, he might be flipping, but he's also done some guard work, and so I think we would probably project him as a guard right now.
having those two guys in the card, would you guys still maybe like to add a veteran at some point? Because you're pretty young, other than Saffold, with what you have on the offensive line.
Well, we've got Garrett, and Garrett's done a nice job here just in the short time he's been here in the last couple of weeks. So we've got Garrett, but there's always that chance that we would add somebody.
Does this drafting Havenstein, especially in the second round, does that lessen your interest in bringing Barksdale back? Or?
No, we still have interest in bringing Joe back.
What stood out about Sean Mannion throughout the process?
He's a nice case study. He started 4 years there, all-time pass leader in terms of yards in Pac-10, Pac-12 history. But what's interesting following him is his skill level, his skill players, they've all been drafted. As a sophomore, he had two guys, Marcus Wheaton and Brandon Cooks. As a junior, he had just Brandon Cooks. As a senior, he had a group of tight ends and a not-so-good offensive line. So big, tall, pro-style quarterback, tough, all the things you look for, smart, knows the system. And then when we went and did the private, I think that's what solidified him for us. And I know Chris Winkie, Frank Signetti did a lot of work on him. Great job at the privates that really solidified, hey, that was the fit for us, if you want to call it, of that final four QBs besides the most talked about two.
How much, just coming from a pro-style offense, because I know obviously that's a big thing when you're trying to evaluate that, the projection of what they could be in the NFL, how much did that play in with Sean over the others?
Well, his understanding, of terminology of defenses, decision-making. We sent him some information, let him study the night before, and then we talked about it, the next day. He had it down. He's exceptionally smart. And again, I think the thing that I was most impressed with was his ability to make every throw, the different touches, the deep balls, the shorter throws, and then the footwork. I thought his footwork and in the pocket and getting out of the pocket was much better than I saw on tape. And he had a great pro day, and then like we said, he had a great workout for us.
When you're watching tape of him, and he struggled more last year than he did before, how do you figure in what's going on around him into the?
What's interesting, I told Coach Fish, if you were a fan of Sean Mannion, that I almost told our video guy to just delete the Oregon State 2014 film. Just so you don't want that to be your first exposure to the kid, because he had lost a lot of weapons, and a couple of his really good offensive linemen had gotten injured and missed the season. So he was under duress. But when he had some weapons, I'll know this: they went to 2 bowl games his sophomore and junior year, and I think that's why. Mike Riley's done a good job there. They're probably undermanned every time they go play somebody in the Pac-12, and that group with Mike and Sean at QB, they just won games when they had just enough skill. So that's why at that point I was like, let's delete 214 and just watch the 12 and 13 stuff.
How much do you look, though, at when it is a tough year, of how he handles the adversity?
I think Coach Fish probably.
Yeah, he did a great job. Unfortunately for him, we've seen numerous times where he's got hit right in the chin, and he'll get back up and back under center and throw a comeback for a first down. He's that kind of player. Those things don't bother him. Has excellent numbers in the red zone or the scoring territory, plus 20. He's just an excellent thrower, particularly because of his height, his vision, and his release, and the velocity on the ball. He throws a lot of touchdown passes inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah. I think that was Coach Fish made a good point. We broke down these QBs, and we did a lot of work on them. And situational, threw a lot of TDs in the red zone, whereas some of the other QBs may throw a lot just on some deep balls in college football. And also in analyzing the picks, a lot of his picks came when, they're down. They're down by 28, and everybody's bringing the house, and he's just trying to win a game. So you try to break down and analyze the situations and how it would be different if he got to a place with, better surroundings.
Is he similar style, body to Foles, same sort of guy?
Yeah, there's similarities there. Yeah. Tall, good target,
Did
good
you work
release.
on all 6 of those guys in that one long weekend?
I think we can say that now, yes, all 6.
Were you surprised no quarterbacks went off in the second round?
After
After watching this class.
Maybe a little bit, but what happens in that second round and when you're trying to figure out the draft, there's still good positional players left that are going to probably play upwards of 4 downs a series for a team where some of these guys are probably not playing opening day. So I think all teams are more tempted and probably right to go pick the player who may play 4 downs for you.
Havenstein played, I think, had 41 starts. Brown had, I think, 40 starts. How much does that help their NFL readiness in your mind?
Well, it was a factor. I mean, we look at games played and games started, and both of them, their numbers were somewhat similar, but it's definitely a factor. I mean, it's durability, it's reliability is important, and experience. I mean, if you're not going to miss a game in college or rarely miss a game, the odds are you're going to do the same thing here.
Hey, Havenstein had a couple of shoulder surgeries. I'm sure you guys looked at that. I mean, no concerns there?
Yeah, we really looked at him, and the nice thing is because of the surgery, scrutinized him. Medical staff okayed it, and like Coach Fish said, when you do the research, you like, because when guys play a lot, they're going to get banged up. Football's it's an aggressive sport, but what you do like when you do the research is, hey, the guy doesn't miss practice, he doesn't miss games. He's just got banged up and toughed it out.
How much work do you think he needs in pass protection?
What'd you say?
How much work do you think he needs in pass protection?
You know what? Being a right tackle, I think I'd say the key to probably a right tackle who's probably going to obviously be less athletic than the left tackle. That's why he's playing right. Is he knows his strengths and weaknesses, so he knows what can beat him and what can't. And I think those guys over time learn to use all of that knowledge to go, know his weaknesses, not get himself in a place where those weaknesses are going to be exposed. So the smartness probably comes in handy there.
Back to Manny for a moment. You said the workout solidified things. And you talked yesterday about it's not only what they do on the field, it's a lot of other stuff you do with them. What was it about that solidified in your mind, you think, with a workout?
I think all the draft nicks would say at Mannion's pro day, after his pro day, he was buzzing. And I think Coach Fish saw that on the way on the plane. We had it on the iPad, and then when you go see it live, you just see a guy that's tall, quick release, improved his release, and the ball is coming out of his hand. He's driving it, as Coach Winkie would say, through the receiver with timing. So,
Jeff, we didn't get a chance to ask you last night. Zach Stacy's comments, or I guess request to be traded or released, and I guess, I don't know if it was you or Kevin, somebody talked to his agents today. Just any status update on that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been so busy. I mean, I haven't addressed it with Zach. I mean, we'll get to that, but could understand, his concerns. I think his first comment was "yikes" or somebody said something to me. He tweeted that, but we'll address it. He's a team guy, and I can appreciate his concern, but we've not talked with him about it yet.
So his status right now has not changed in terms of
That's
his part of the team.
All right.